Welcome back to my channel, guys. I hope you're all doing great. In this video, I'm going to share with you my most awaited palette, which is the Natasha Denona CIRCO LOCO palette. I have been so excited to get this palette, guys, because I am obsessing over colors, and this palette has been just on my eyes, and I have been literally waiting for this palette, and here I am. I finally got the palette in my hands, and I could not wait to create 5 looks using this palette because I feel that this is the best way to create and use all the colors and try out all the shades from one single palette. In this video, I'm going to do a small comparison of the Natasha Denona CIRCO LOCO palette and the bronze palette, and then I will move on to my reviews and swatches from this palette. After that, I will show you 5 different looks that I've created using the CIRCO LOCO palette, and then finally I will tell you the dupe to this beautiful expensive palette. So this is how the palette looks up close, guys. It's a pretty big palette. As you can see, I'm holding it with both my hands and it's covering the whole palette. This is how it looks up close, and this is the colors, guys. I cannot tell you how pretty they are. It comes with a big mirror, which I'm very happy about. So you just have to carry this palette and you are sorted. You don't have to carry an extra mirror, and with that kind of cost, I'm pretty happy that they have included a mirror, because if there was no mirror, then come on, like really, what are we paying for? They also have these tiny holes from inside, so if you want to relocate your eyeshadow pans, then you can do so. This is the Natasha Denona bronze palette, guys, and you can see the difference in the size. It's a pretty small palette. I also want to show you the difference between the eyeshadow pans. They both have different eyeshadow pans as well. However, both of them have 15 eyeshadow pans. Retails for $129, guys. That is expensive for an eyeshadow palette, and in Indian rupees, it's around 9,600 something, So let's just assume it's 10,000 for a palette. 10,000 rupees for a palette is expensive, guys. So if you have it, or if you have any of the Natasha Denona big palettes, please ensure that you don't drop it, because that would be disheartening. These are the swatches starting from the top left corner and all the way going left. I must say how pigmented these eyeshadows are. I highly recommend using the shimmer shades with your fingers because they are so pigmented, and the color payoff of these shades are so intense with when applied with your fingers. These were the swatches, and I just wish that she had included one single eyeshadow which was warm toned and which was a neutral shade. This palette could have been used so very much if that was the case. Now let's get into the looks that I've created using this eyeshadow palette. I just want to tell you that I've created my looks using only this palette and only this palette, guys. I've not used any other eyeshadow from anywhere else because this video is all about the CIRCO LOCO palette. I also want to tell you that the looks that I've created are going to be only with mascara and not with false lashes, because I think with false lashes all the looks look so pretty. So now let me show you all the looks that I've created. I'm starting to apply the loose powder under my eyes because I know it's going to be extremely pigmented and we are going to have some fallout. Then I'm taking the shade Magic and applying it on my upper lash line towards the outer corners and taking it towards my brows. As you can see, I'm only tapping it, and then once I'm happy with the placement, I will blend it out. Then I'm taking the shade Electric, and with a bigger brush, I'm going to apply it right next to the purple shade, and my oh my, it's super pigmented. And look how I'm blending the shades together. I will again apply the shade Magic to my top lash line just to give it a little bit more depth and connect it to the outer corners of my eye. With whatever product is left on the brush, I will just blend both the shades together. Then I'm going to apply the shade Fun to Mime. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, as my transition color, because this is the lightest shade from the palette, and I'm going to blend it out in windshield wiper motions. Then I'm taking the shade Electric and covering the centers of my lid, leaving the inner thirds of my eye. I'm only taking the shade up till my natural crease. Next, I'm taking the shade Act and I'm going to apply it wherever we applied the matte shade, which is the outer corners of my eye. I'm also creating an extended outer V so that it gives a more dramatic look. To blend both the eyeshadows together, I'm taking the same flat brush that we applied the shade Electric with, and I'm just diffusing both the shades together. For the inner thirds of my eye, I'm taking the shade Snow Cone and applying it in the innermost corners all the way to the shade Electric, and I'm just diffusing both the shades together so that we don't have any harsh lines. Blending with the tip of the brush makes it super easy and precise. Adding a little bit more of the shade Fun to Mime as my transition shade, I'm just blending out the harsh edges. Next, I'm going to add a little bit more depth and define my top lash line by adding the shade Act and applying it closest to my top lash line and connecting it to the purple shade that we applied in the outermost corners. In the outer third corners of my lower lash line, I'm going to apply the shade Magic, and then for the centers of my lower lash line, I'm going to apply the shade Electric, and then we already have the shade Snow Cone in the innermost corners of my lower lash line. To blend out all these colors from the bottom, I'm going to take the shade Fun to Mime and then just give it a seamless look. To finish my look number 1, I'm going to dust off the loose powder under my eyes and apply some mascara on both my top and bottom lashes. And here is my look number 1. For this look, as you can see, I've already applied some loose powder under my eyes and prepped up my eyelid with the P. Louise eyeshadow base, and now I'm going to take the shade Razzle Dazzle with a small smudge brush and apply it only in the outer corners of my eye. First, I'm tapping it wherever I want it and then I will blend it out. I'm also taking this shade in the innermost corners, creating more like a halo look, and then connecting it where my natural crease is. Make sure you keep it up to your natural crease. And now with the shade Joker, I'm going to just apply it right above my natural crease, blending out the harsh lines that we have created using the shade Razzle Dazzle. Then I'm taking the shade Spiral and applying it on the centers of my eyelid, just slowly taking the product and building it. I'm just tapping the product and then spreading it lightly just to get the maximum pigmentation out of this product. I'm also going to keep the shade in the centers of my eyelid, not hiding the pink shade we applied in the outer corners and the innermost corners. And now I was not very happy with the outcome, so I've applied the shade Grin in the centers of my eyelid on top of the orange shade. Now the best way to apply these shimmer shades is with your finger, guys. The pigmentation and the color payoff when applied with your finger is insane. For my lower lash line, I'm going to apply the shade Razzle Dazzle in the innermost corners and the outermost corners, connecting it to the upper eyeshadow that we created, and then I'm just blending it out with a clean smudge brush. I've also left the centers of the lower lash line to apply the shade Spiral, and then I'm topping it up with the shade Grin, just like we did on the top lid. As I wanted to use maximum shades from this palette, I'm going in with the shade Firework. This is a matte orange shade and I really wanted to create a sunset-like effect. So I'm going to apply it only on my natural crease, which is going to be between the golden shade and the pink shade. I'm also applying the shade Grin to my innermost corners of my eye, and this will completely open up my eye. To finish off my look, I'm dusting off the loose powder under my eyes and applying some mascara on my top and bottom lashes. And this is my look number 2. For this look, I've already prepped up my eyelid with the P. Louise eyeshadow base, and now I'm going with the shade Magic, applying it closest to my top lash line in tapping motions. I'm tapping the product as I've not set the eyeshadow base, and I'm taking the product little by little as it's extremely pigmented. As I go along, I'm creating a winged eyeliner and I'm extending it towards my brows. Then I'm taking this color to my natural crease. Following the natural crease of my eyes, I'm just connecting the winged eyeliner I just created. As you can see, I always like to tap my product before blending so that I'm pretty sure of the placement, and it also sticks on the eyeshadow base beautifully. To blend this color out towards my brow bone, I'm going to take the shade Cotton Candy and just diffuse this color towards my brow bone. Then I'm taking the shade Cannon, and with a flat brush, I'm going to apply it starting from the centers of my eyelid. Then I'm going to go from the innermost corners to the outer corners, just between the purple lines. I'm also going to ensure that I don't leave any empty spaces and I cover the lid completely. I'm also going to connect it from the innermost corners, following the natural crease to the purple shade that we applied before. Then I'm just going to create a smoky effect to the eyeliner that we created. And now I'm taking the shade Grin to apply it in the innermost corners, and I'm just diffusing it to the shade Cannon. This will make my eye look a little bit more brighter. So if you will notice, the inner thirds of my eye is going to be the shade Grin, and I'm just going to intensify the shade Cannon by applying it a little bit more and ensuring that I don't don't leave any empty spaces. I'm just going to intensify the shade Magic on my top lash line by just tapping it. For my lower lash line, I'm going to take the shade Magic and apply it very lightly in my outer thirds of my lower lash line. I'm also going to connect it to the extended wing that we created. Then I'm going to apply the shade Canyon in the centers of my lower lash line, and then in the innermost corners of my lower lash line, I will apply the shade Grin just like we did in the top lid. To blend out the harsh lines beneath it, I'm going to use the same shade Fun to Mime and just make it a seamless finished look. For my brow bone, I'm going to add the shade Aerialist, and this will just make my eye pop. To finish off my look, I'm going to apply mascara on top and my bottom lashes, and this is my look number 3. Just like the other looks, I've prepped up my skin with the eyeshadow base, and now I'm going to apply the shade Acrobat in the outermost corners of my eye, starting from the top lash line. Then I'm going to go in with the shade Razzle Dazzle and apply it right next to it. I will also cover the centers of my lid with this shade. As you can see, I'm tapping all the products from this eyeshadow palette, and I prefer to tap all the eyeshadows just to maintain the intensity and the pigmentation of the eyeshadows. Then I'm applying the shade Joker to the inner thirds of my eye and connecting it to the shade Razzle Dazzle. As I go along, I have to blend both the shades and the center line of both the shades, so I'm just diffusing the colors together. When I was blending the shade Acrobat and Razzle Dazzle, it created this beautiful purple shade, and I was so in love with this color. Even though this color was there in the palette, it's called Act, but I fell in love with my eye look already. And now to blend out the colors towards my brow bone, on the outer half of my eye, I'm going to use the shade Fun to Mime, and in the inner half of my eye, I'm going to use the shade Cotton Candy because we've used the pink shade in the inner corners of our eye. To intensify my look, I'm going to add the shade Razzle Dazzle where we applied it before. But this time I'm going to apply it with my finger to get the best result out of this shade. I'm applying the shade Razzle Dazzle all over my lower lash line and then just blending it out as I go along. In the outer third corners of my lower lash line, I'm going to apply the shade Acrobat, and as I blend it, it's going to create that beautiful purple effect just like the way it is on our top lid. I will also connect it to the outer V that we created from the top lid, and now to define my top lash line, I'm going to apply the shade Act. I'm tapping it closest to my top lash line and connecting it to the purple shade that we got upon blending. Then I'm applying Razzle Dazzle in the inner thirds of my eye and connecting it to the centers of my lid. In the innermost corners of my eye, I'm applying the shade Snow Cone and blending it out. And to finish off my eye look, I'm applying mascara on my top and bottom lashes, and this is my final look number 4, you guys. Just like the other looks, I've prepped up my eyelid with the P. Louise eyeshadow base, and now I'm going to go with the shade Acrobat and apply it in the outermost corners of my eye. I highly recommend tapping the eyeshadows and taking them little by little just to increase the intensity as they are extremely pigmented. I'm going to create an outer V with this color and take it up till my natural crease. I'm also going to apply the same shade in the innermost corners of my eye and connect it on my natural crease so that we have a beautiful halo eye. And now to blend out the harsh edges towards my brow bone, I'm going to use the shade Fun to Mime. Please take your time in blending. Sometimes these eyeshadows may take a little longer to blend, but I can promise you that they blend beautifully. Then I wanted to blend it out a little bit more towards my brow bone, so I'm going in with the shade Cotton Candy and applying it on top of it so that it blends and gives it a more seamless finish. Now with a flat brush, I'm applying the shade Spiral in the centers of my eyelid right on top of my eyeball up till the natural crease, and I was not very happy with the pigmentation and the color payoff, so I went ahead and sprayed the Fix Plus on my flat brush and then reapplied the Spiral shade in the centers of my eyelid. I went again and reapplied the Spiral shade with my finger as they best applied with your fingers, and then blended out the corners of my eye, the inner corner and the outermost corners, just to get a seamless look. Now I realized that this shade is not going very well with the blue colors that I have applied, so I went in and applied the shade Grin on the centers of my eyelid just above the Spiral shade, and now this look was turning out to be much better. I blended the corners of the shade Grin, and now for my lower lash line, I applied the shade Magic in the outer half of my lower lash line, and in the inner half of my lower lash line I applied the shade Joker. Now you can see on the loose powder there is a certain amount of fallout, so if you're using this palette, I highly recommend to do your eye makeup before you do your base. And for your lower lash line, please apply some loose powder under your eyes so that you don't have any problems with the fallout. After blending both the shades together, I'm applying the shade Aerialist in the innermost corners of my eye and on my brow bone, and to finish off my eye look, I'm applying mascara on top and my bottom lashes, and this is my final look number 5. which look was your favorite, guys? I am in love with all the looks, but I really want to know which look was your favorite. So please do let me know in the comment section down below. Please do also let me know if you want me to create some more wearable looks using this palette, but in that case I will also be using some other palettes. Like I would prefer to use some more neutral and warm toned colors just to make good use of this palette. So do let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to create that video for you, and you guys know that I would be super excited and very happy to create it for you. Now for the most exciting part, guys, the dupe for this palette. I am going to reveal the dupe for this palette, which is going to be the LA Girl Hot Heat palette. This is how it looks up close. I have to be a little careful because my mirror is broken, and this is how it looks. So pretty, guys. I am just, blown away with the fact that I could find a dupe for the CIRCO LOCO palette in my vanity, and I'm just going to show you the CIRCO LOCO right next to it so you can see that they are very, very similar. And I really like the LA Girl because you know why. It has a black shade and also few neutrals which you can play with and create endless looks. So you see that it's a good dupe because it has a few colors that are same. The only difference is that the LA Girl Hot Heat palette does not have any orange or a purple, but I feel the other blue colors and the green colors are so very similar. And I also like the fact that the Hot Heat palette has neutrals where you can really create so many looks with it, and also has a mirror, guys. So in my opinion, this could be a perfect dupe for the CIRCO LOCO palette. The LA Girl palette also retails for about 1,900 rupees, guys, which is, oh my god, not even 1/4 of the Natasha Denona palette. So this is it from my side for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching all the looks. Please again do let me know which one was your favorite in the comment section down below. Also do let me know if you want me to create some looks using another palette. I would be happy to do so. Again, do let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Till then, take care and thank you so much for watching. Please be safe.